Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Why Try Blaze Politics. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button and leave a comment to let me know what you think of this situation, because it's actually crazy. I'm not going to say that we couldn't see the writing on the wall in some ways, but I did not expect it to pan out like this, the Trump and Elon relationship. And yeah, let's get into it. So reportedly, Elon Musk is upset with Donald Trump right now because obviously we all know Donald Trump hired him into the White House to find fraud and abuse that was happening in the government. And what essentially happened was he found the abuse. He found what we're being told, millions, if not billions of dollars of fraud and abuse and waste that was being spent in the government on the taxpayers' dime. And Elon Musk was under the impression that this money was going to be sent back to the American people or be used in a much more secure way other than just giving it back to corporations. Okay. However, with this new one big beautiful bill that Trump has created, it essentially gives all of this money that we are being told that Elon Musk saved us, the taxpayer and the government, from wasting like they've been doing, like we all know that they do. It's going to go back to the corporations. Now, if you have typically, let's say like Reaganomics, okay, trickle down economics, what I would say is that could be a viable solution if you incentivize / sometimes you probably have to force some of these corporations to actually give the money back to the employees in either higher pay raises or more overtime. And that's part of, if you incentivize that, it only strengthens this bill because you are taking away taxes on overtimes and tips. So if people can afford, if companies can afford to give out more overtime, that means more people make more money at their jobs, right? The problem, however, is there is no provision in this bill that essentially incentivizes or forces companies to give back to the employees that made them all this money, right? So now you have the two sides beefing with each other right now because Elon essentially said this bill is full of pork. Part of electing you was to drain the swamp and to get rid of all this fraud and abuse and give it back to the people, right? Because that's where it belongs. And Elon Musk feels like he's been duped and he's been used because essentially what he was told his purpose would be essentially turned out to be giving more money back to corporations. Now, like I said, if it was incentivized for him to go back to the employees, that would be a whole nother conversation, but that doesn't exist in this bill in its current state.
All right, we are getting some reaction to the back and forth with Elon Musk and President Trump. President Trump has now responded to Elon Musk on his Truth Social account, and he posted this. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy.
More from President Trump on Truth Social, including this. And this really, I mean, this is Lexington and Concord here. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. One of those contracts is a contract worth about $15 billion between SpaceX and NASA.
Right. So if the situation couldn't get any more ridiculous, Trump was basically threatening to abolish his EV mandates with Elon Musk, which, by the way, most of the country is not for EV mandates. And I think Trump knows that, and he's trying to use that to his advantage there when he says, I was going to cancel it anyway. You know, my relationship with Elon had nothing to do with whether EV mandates passed or not. No, they definitely did. Let's be 100% honest there. But it's getting more ridiculous because now he's threatening to get rid of these EV mandates when the whole situation was Elon Musk calling out the fact that he's doing what people voted him in to get rid of. They voted him in to get rid of the swamp. And it seems like at this point, he's either building a new swamp or contributing to the one that had already been there and just wanted to make us believe as though he was getting rid of the swamp. When in reality, he was just keeping around the ones that he wanted to keep around. I want to show you guys some clips from this reporter over at Newsmax. He's a very intelligent speaking guy, and I want you to hear what he has to say on a couple different things. He introduces a conspiracy theory that I don't necessarily think is going to be true, okay, but a lot of the other things he says, I think a lot of us would agree on when it comes to spending, overspending, and just our budget in general. So check this out real quick.
Okay, so the support for this bill seems to be falling apart right in front of us. And instead of going back to the drawing board and saying, oh, hey, maybe we, as in Congress, should trim it down a bit and change some things and tweak some things. No, they're just trying to keep it alive simply because it passed the House already.
I called Elon last night and he didn't answer, but I'm not upset about this. And I just, I think he understands, and he's acknowledged to me before, that this is so serious that we can't fool around with it.
Yeah, that's what we're concerned about. It is serious, and we're concerned about you guys fooling around with it. The bill wasn't perfect when it got there. Okay, and Elon, I think, is right on this one, because apparently you passed a bill that no one read, that you told us was so star-spangled awesome, Mike, that it had to be passed. And Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted out today, or actually yesterday, full transparency. I did not know this section on pages 278 and 279 of the OBBB that strips states of the right to make laws or regulate AI for 10 years. She said, I'm adamantly opposed to this and is a violation of states' rights, and I would have voted no if I had known this was in there. This needs to be stripped out in the Senate. Look.
Does anybody else find it pretty shocking that we have members of Congress and Senate who literally don't even read bills and they just stamp them because either their side wrote the bill, drafted the bill, and said, yep, that's good, that's what we want, instead of actually reading it and going through it and picking out the things that they do and don't like? It's pretty insane, actually, to think about. Anyway, let's keep it rolling.
Her on most things. But is it too much to ask that somebody who's getting paid $174,000 of my tax money a year to read the one major thing they voted on this month?
So everything we've heard up to this point sounds good. It sounds great, right? Like we're all following along and we agree with everything. But this is the part where he loses me, okay? This is the part where he goes off onto a little bit of a tangent, a little bit of a conspiracy theory, and hopes that, I guess he's hoping that Donald Trump is not a snake, essentially, and screwing with us all. But this is his conspiracy theory, and I'll just go ahead and let him tell you about it.
Roll with it. I think Trump might be working in tandem with Elon here to tank his own bill in a 4D chess move. Just a theory. My reasoning, I mean, like, how many people in the history of ever, like Trump's entire political career of the last decade, have come out against something Trump wants? And when has Trump just not gone off and completely obliterated them on like a global scale? Seriously. Ron DeSantis says one bad thing about Trump. Trump ruined his presidential career potential. Massey, 99% aligned with Trump, doesn't vote for the big, beautiful bill, and Trump's supporting a primary against him. So why hasn't Trump said anything negative about Elon?
So I guess this video was published before the tweets about Elon Musk came out, because he said a lot of things about the EVs, the EV mandates, things that Elon knew Trump was going to do a while ago, and he ended up doing. And that's essentially why Elon is upset. That's what Trump is saying. Now, obviously, I think we can all see that's not what is going on here. And let me be clear. There are things in this big, beautiful bill that I support. Like I said earlier, taxes on tips need to be abolished. Taxes on overtime need to be abolished. That is theft in my eyes, okay? There are things in this bill that are good, but it's like Elon said, it's filled with pork. The same thing that we get upset with Democrats for when they basically, I'm pretty sure the term is filibuster, when you basically shove a whole bunch of stuff into a bill that sounds great on paper and has great things in it, but you put a bunch of stuff in the back end that people aren't going to read, and if they do read, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are just going to sign off on because their president made the bill. Anyways, you guys, that's all I've got for you today. If you did enjoy, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment and share it with your friends, spread this video everywhere you can, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, TikTok, all that stuff. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We will see you on the next upload, and have a good one. Peace.